Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Thursday night, middle of Thursday night football, not quite the middle. About under 10 minutes to play in the Thursday night game between the Browns and the Steelers, tied 7-all as we sit here. But tonight we are going to talk about some early returns. Been a lot of negative shit lately, a lot of bad things going on for the Tennessee Titans, but there has been one positive to emerge. Now, how significant it ends up being for the course of their season remains to be seen. But for the meantime, the Titans are liking what they're getting out of rookie Treylon Burks. So we'll talk about that tonight, and we'll get into a conversation about it. You'll hear from Todd Downing. As a matter of fact, we will also get to one thing that needs to be corrected before the Titans play the Raiders on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. We will also do a weekend bounce back. Speaking of bounce backs, the Steelers defense has needed to bounce back this quarter. They just allowed another touchdown from Jake Brisket to David Njoku. But we will keep you updated as these things progress. A lot of stuff to do. J.E. Lou says he hasn't done anything yet. Well, maybe, but we can talk about it because he's the best option that you have. So instead of completely poo-pooing it, you might want to look a little closer at what he's been doing lately before you make an assessment. Let us go ahead and start the show. Actually, share this show first on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, if that is where you're hanging out with us. You're on YouTube. Oh, a doink. A doink for the Browns on the extra point. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel. You can do that on Twitch too. You can throw a like on the video, and that would be great. If you are on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you're on Facebook Live, like Manny or Christine, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Now we can go ahead and start the show. Happy to have you guys in for another one, and I know it's going to be great. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at Superbook Sports. Wager on every sport, including football, this season with the Superbook Sports app and get your first bet matched up to $1,000, win or lose. Terms and conditions at superbook.com. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. The Intel Edge is what Gary Ashton and his team will give you when you go to their website, GaryAshton.com, for more information. TrueMav Fitness, a new way to work out. Great 45-minute classes designed for every level of fitness. So as you start your fitness journey, you can get started with a new way and a better way. TrueMavFitness.com for more info. And Two Rivers Ford, the best car buying experience humanly possible. Not just in Middle Tennessee, not just in the state, in the country. Two Rivers Ford is among the best in the business, certainly to us. They will get you guaranteed rates if you qualify on a 2023 model year Ford. Tell you more about that later on in the show. So as we kind of look at the situation for Treylon Burks and the Tennessee Titans and all the different issues that we've talked about in the last couple of days since they got blown out at Buffalo. The thing that needs to be looked at is, all right, how do they fix it? How do they go about it? How do they go about getting this thing back on track, and who is going to be best capable of helping them do so? So it's only 2 games, and it's a small sample size, and certainly it hasn't been good enough to help them win games just yet. But Treylon Burks is receiving a lot of positive feedback and seems to be one of the best things that they have going on the field right now. Now, I'm made even more jaded about the Titans on offense as I watched Jacoby Brissett and Mitch Trubisky be able to move the ball with relative degrees of ease, and how terrible it looks for the Titans to be able to move the ball on offense as of late, certainly against the Bills. But as you look at Treylon Burks and how they start to incorporate him more, we can talk about why he is not playing more and what can they benefit by having him on the field more frequently. We will do this right after you give me your Two Rivers Ford take. Very simple. On Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. How would you grade Treylon Burks' performance through 2 games? I'll give you his stat line in a minute. You're going to hear from Todd Downing on the rookie momentarily. But how would you grade it? It's just 2 games. and there's not a big sample size of work so far. But are you pleased on the whole with what you're seeing from the rookie first-round pick? We can talk about it together right after I remind you that Two Rivers Ford is the place that you go for all of your car buying needs, whether it's a new 2023 model year or a certified pre-owned vehicle. Two Rivers Ford is the place that you go. They will take care of you as well as you have ever been treated at a car dealership. The standard is pretty low, but Two Rivers Ford goes above and beyond to make sure that you can have the best possible experience no matter what your shopping habits are, whether you want to build your own Ford the way that I did, or and have it custom ordered and delivered right to your door, or select any one of their certified pre-owned vehicles or any of the new vehicles that they have in the lot. Two Rivers Ford and their non-commissioned sales team will go above and beyond to make sure you get what you need. TwoRiversFord.com. So, how would you grade Treylon Burks as the first-round pick? 0-2 are the Titans, and their passing game has, certainly against Buffalo it languished, but that's not Treylon's fault. Frankly, it's not Tannehill's fault either. The protection was really, really bad. Roy DeMeo says, he hasn't done anything bad outright. Well, that's fair. He has not done anything for points off, is I guess Roy's argument. Aaron George saying a 9 out of 10 looks great so far. Randy Howard, a solid B, would be closer to an A if he wasn't being compared to AJ. Yeah, you're always going to have to grade on that AJ Brown curve, who's making appearances in network television sitcoms that are based in Philadelphia because he's become so popular there. So with all the different things, and I'll give you my evaluation of Treylon here in just a second, but I want you to hear from Todd Downing, who for all of your guys' ire towards him had a lot of positive feedback about what Treylon has been able to do so far. This was the Titans OC earlier today.
Given his ability to make plays after the catch and run with the ball in his hands, do you need to make Treylon more a focal part of the offense in terms of what he can do?
I think he's been growing each and every week, and I think he's been generating confidence in a lot of people around here each and every week. And so as that happens just naturally, I think the ball tends to find him a little bit more. Again, I don't think you can force anything, but you certainly want to give a guy that has done well with his opportunities some more opportunities.
So that is Titans OC Todd Downing talk about Treylon. Now, the opportunities that Treylon Burks is getting are not terribly many. He in the Titans' Week 1 loss to the New York Giants, he was targeted 5 times. He caught 3 passes. He had a total of 55 yards, so just north of 18 yards per reception. That's a 60% catch rate and 11 and yards per target. So they were targeting him downfield, which is why he had the opportunities to move the chains the way that he did. He had about an average receiving yards per target of 11. Now, he only played 24 snaps offensively. He played special teams, a handful of special teams in the season opener, but only 24 snaps, which is 37% of their offensive snaps that he played. Now, in Buffalo, he was targeted more, got 1 more target, 6 targets, caught 1 more pass for 47 yards, 11.75 yards per reception. And a 25 and 45% of their offensive snaps, which was only 25 snaps in total. So they don't get a lot of possessions offensively, which is a problem in and of itself. But I think that Treylon Burks, they're running really the same route concept with him every time that he's caught a pass. It's that quick play action. Greg Cosell calls it bang play action, where Tannehill hits his back foot, whips it to the receiver, streaking over on a crosser in the middle of the field. They've done it with Corey Davis for years with success. AJ Brown as well. And that is the route that they are most frequently targeting and hitting Treylon Burks on. Now, things like the empty set that you guys sent us a lot of screenshots of, where they've got like 3 tight ends, Treylon and a fullback split out wide. I can't remember the exact personnel grouping, but it caused a lot of commotion on the internet. Treylon Burks was open. They just didn't get the pass completed because Tannehill was consistently under pressure that day. So I think for all of these things, if you ask me to give him a grade so far, I would say I would say that B minus is fair. He's doing the things that they ask him to do. He's in the right place for the quarterback to find him, which is as important for a rookie as anything, because it's about building trust and chemistry that when I go your way, you're going to be in the spot that I expect you to be, or that you're going to make a play for me if I target you when you may not necessarily be open given the concepts. I think all these things right now, B minus is fine. Like, I think that's especially for the bit of a nightmare summer that he had for Treylon Burks. This is the exact kind of thing that you were hoping to see, where the player is now developing into the role that they're trying to find for him. Steelers just scored a touchdown. Looked like Najee Harris getting ready to, or just got them close to the end zone. Actually, I think you guys are a little ahead of me as I watch this on Amazon Prime. But I guess the Steelers are about to score and at least try to tie this game up. Oh, what? Oh, Mitch Trubisky with a stiff arm. How about MVP Mitch? Look at that. Top Tier says Burks is the real deal. He's going to be very good. I think that he's got a lot of promise. He's not A.J. Brown yet. That's fine. He doesn't have to be A.J. Brown. Well, I mean, you could really use him to be A.J. Brown right now, but he's not. And as they continue to trust him more in the offense, they'll continue to play him more snaps. He'll get more targets. He'll be able to have a bigger impact on the game. And also, he needs to continue to learn different route concepts, because it's clear he's got that one down, which is great. That allows them, the more that he learns, the more that he's able to do, the more nuance that he adds as the season progresses, and the more he understands about the game plan that they're going to execute each week. I think that it is one of the most positive developments of the Titans season so far. We can let's read more of your comments here in just a second, and then we'll talk about a quick fix right after I remind you that Superbook Sports is the place that you need to go to wager on football, baseball, college football, whatever you like. Every major sport in the Superbook Sports app. You can bring Vegas to the palm of your hand, and they'll match your first bet, win or lose, up to $1,000. It's a great offer with a great product. The app is clean. It's easy to use. You can get it on Android or on iPhone. Superbook Sports is where you go. Superbook.com is where you get the terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, why is Woods not targeted more, says Lee Hart. So let's take a look at, it's a good question, because I'd be curious to see what Robert Woods' target share was against the Bills as opposed to the Giants, where he was hardly targeted at all. Now, they went his way considerably more against Buffalo. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards in total. And he did have the 1 punt return snap on special teams. So he's really only playing 66% of their offensive snaps right now. They're not going with a a staple of the guys who you would consider their top receivers right now. They're mixing a lot of different dudes, a lot of different looks in to try and keep the defense off guard. Why they don't target him more, I would have to look at the plays where he was open. I would have to look at the progressions that Tannehill was going through, and I would have to look at the offensive line protection, because it has frankly been trash. But I think that for all of these things, or at least last week it was trash, because Taylor getting hurt impacted that in a massive way. I think that they certainly did go his way more, and it's curious that now, I don't know if they're just trying to manage Robert Woods and his workload coming off the knee. I don't know if they're trying to work Treylon Burks in more, and as he learns more, he'll be able to play more for them within the offense. Hooper is not really involved either. Like all these different acquisitions that they made, Hooper got a few more targets in this game than he did in week 1, but it hasn't looked right just yet. So as we kind of evaluate the bulk of the picture right now, it's tough to kind of say, well, why isn't player X, Y, and Z being targeted more? In reality, it looks like they're working in a fair amount of different skill position players, from fullbacks to tight ends to wide receivers, running backs when Dontrell Hilliard is on the field, to provide them a little bit of change of pace. There is a pretty it's a pretty interesting approach, and we'll see how it continues to develop. Jeremiah says Treylon Burks is cold. He just doesn't get any touches. That's all. I mean, it would, I don't know what the learning curve. I don't know how much he knows, or frankly, how much he doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's probably a lot of different things that they need to be comfortable with him doing before they can put him out there for the bulk of the offensive snaps. So we'll see how this continues to progress. But let's talk about, let's see. Dion Bonner says, frankly, I'm tired of hearing about us managing our talent. Let the guys play. Maybe we're overthinking some of these strategies. Maybe. It's entirely possible. If Robert Woods is indeed completely healthy, then I would argue for a greater percentage of the snaps than 67% for your top wide receiver. But I think for the time being, you have to kind of look at this and say, yeah, they're not comfortable with everything they have just yet. Now, whether they're right or wrong on that, it doesn't seem to make the difference, because they're going to call the personnel groupings the way that they want, no matter what you or I think of them at this point. All right, let us talk about the quick fix that needs to be made for the Titans to have a chance against the Raiders on Sunday. I think it's a particularly bad matchup for them, given the strengths and weaknesses of the Raiders versus the strengths and weaknesses of the Titans. Not a terrible amount of strengths for the Titans right now. But the question that I would like to ask you is, what one thing can the Titans fix to have a chance against the Steelers? Can and should are two different conversations, right? I think we have to be realistic. What one thing can they fix to have a chance against the Raiders is different. What one thing do they need to fix, right? So I think that when you look at what they have available to them and the different things that went wrong, the good news is you have a lot of different areas to work on. Good news and bad news, I suppose. But we will get into that momentarily, right after I remind you that the Intel Edge can be had at GaryAshton.com. With the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, you will be put in the best possible position to sell your home without any showings or stagings, to find your next home while the market's still red hot, to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity right now. That's what the Ashton team does for you. They live here. They work for the community here. They're great partners in the community. They're the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, as well as the Primetime Show and my radio show. GaryAshton.com for the Intel Edge you need to succeed. GaryAshton.com. So, looking at the quick fixes, Rob Wright says, fire Todd Downing. Yeah, that's not happening. Nastiness at the line of scrimmage is the one thing that they're capable of fixing, says Jay. It's not that, Aaron Brewer does not lack for attitude and nastiness, right? He's just 275 pounds, and you can't play guard in the NFL at 275 pounds. It's not feasible given the competition that you're going to be going up against. Bigger, faster, stronger. Your technique can be great, and leverage can be your greatest advantage, but he's not equipped to play or to start in this league. Adam Weber says, try moving Radens to left tackle and Levin to left guard. Brewer to backup center. Sign Jackrabbit Jenkins to a 1-year deal. Don't ask Autry to play outside linebacker. Well, they have to ask Autry to play outside linebacker because they don't have Harold. That's just the nature of what you got. I think those are a couple of interesting things, though. Radens at left tackle, could it be worse than Dennis Daly? They seem to think so. They got Dennis Daly on a short week and tossed him out there on Monday Night Football, and it was bad, but I guess they think Radens would be worse. Levin is the backup center primarily, but, if Brewer, I think they trust Brewer more than they do Corey right now. Brewer to backup center would make sense theoretically, but I don't think they're going to take – they trust Brewer to be in the right spot, even if he's going to be physically overmatched. I don't disagree with the signing of Jackrabbit Jenkins. I think they desperately need corner help, but they obviously signed Terrence Mitchell off the practice squad earlier this week, off the Patriots practice squad or the Steelers practice squad. I would have to go back and look at the transactions, but yes, they did sign a couple of defensive backs off two different teams' practice squads this week. Another thing is the defense wrapping up on the offense instead of touching like it's flag football. Yeah, so that's from Kenyatta. Zach Cunningham just bouncing off that fullback, looking completely futile, trying to make a tackle in the backfield. There was not their finest moment. He has objectively been bad also, Zach Cunningham, and I know you need him to be a lot better through these couple of games thus far. How come everyone but the coaches and J-Rob know Brewer is not big enough for the offensive line? Well, again, you know, they like who they like. It's like, why is Mason Kinsey still hanging around on the practice squad? Cody Hollister, why is he still hanging around? Because they trust those guys. They know those guys. And they may not be the best, but 2 out of 3 for them, I guess, passes the smell test. Jeremiah Knight says, Harold Landry injury hurt us. Yes, there is no question that they are a worse football team without Harold. And this offense desperately needs a defense to prop them up as they continue to try and figure things out. But a quick fix would be just simply not turning the ball over. Stop muffing these punts. This was something that Craig Aukerman talked about earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the process of going through who's going to be back there. Obviously, today's going to be a big day, but we got to get back to the fundamentals. I got to do a better job coaching it, just letting those guys understand versus a right-footed punter, if that ball starts to turn over, you know, that ball is going to start drifting to the left. If it doesn't, that ball is going to be short and to the right. Just getting back to the basic fundamentals of getting square up to the ball, having our elbows in and watching it through. So we're going to focus on that today, and with all the guys, whether it's KP, whether it's Amani Hooker, Robert Woods, or anyone else back there, we're going to really focus on that fundamental.
The shoulder injury.
2 muff punts in 2 games is not the way to go. So the thing that they can 2 things that they can quickly fix. 1, stop turning the ball over in horrendous field position when you muff a punt. That's a big one. They are 0 for 2 so far 0 for 2 in these games without mistakes on the punt return situation. I know Kyle Phillips had a couple of nice returns against the Giants, but still, it cannot be that. He got bailed out in against New York because Amani Hooker made an interception. Certainly, the Bills were quick to capitalize on his second muffed punt. So we'll see if he ends up back there, if they end up giving return duties to somebody else. Craig Aukerman told us today that Treylon Burks has readily volunteered for return duties. That is an interesting approach. It would be curious to see them do. I would be surprised if they did it. Kyle Phillips, I still think, is their best possible chance, but they got to get him to quit muffing these punts. They got to quit it. Get him. He's not fumbling. He's just not catching them. He's getting ahead of himself, and it's a problematic situation. Let's do a weekend bounce back and then get out of here for the primetime week and back to Thursday night football with a few seconds left in the second quarter before halftime. Who needs to bounce back the most in sports this weekend? Real simple. Team, player, coach, entity, whatever the case may be. Who needs to bounce back the most in sports? We got a really well, and it doesn't, by the way. Who needs to bounce back just generally? Because mine is not sports related. I just realized that. I'm going off the board, so we're changing the rules. So I should allow you guys to play by the same rules that I'm playing with. But I'll tell you who mine is momentarily, right after I tell you about TrueMav Fitness, the new way to work out, a new way to work out with incredible 45-minute classes, boot camp style. They focus on a different part of your body every day to make sure that no workouts are recycled or repeated. They keep your body constantly adapting to the conditioning that they are going to help you with. They have classes for every level of fitness and an open gym if you would choose to sign up to be a member. You can get unlimited classes and the open gym at any time that you want for only $160 a month. It is centrally located in the Gulch in downtown Nashville. They have varying levels, by the way, of how many classes a month you can sign up for, varying prices as well if you don't need the unlimited package. And if you are a Nashville resident, a Middle Tennessee resident, your first workout is free. TrueMathFitness.com is where you go and tell them A to Z Sports sent you. I'm looking forward to getting a quick TrueMav workout in before I head down to Knoxville tomorrow, which should be a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to seeing my first Tennessee game at Neyland Stadium. So who needs to bounce back? Ryan Field says Downing in the running back toss. Christine McCord stays kind of in that vein and says Derrick Henry. Jay says he needs to bounce back from a mental health standpoint. Stay with me, Jay. It's only week 2 or only week 3, I suppose. We're all in this together, no matter how it ends. We're here with you until the end of the football season and well through it. So if you're already struggling from a mental health standpoint, imagine how I'm going to be in a couple of weeks if they don't pull themselves out of the gutter. But I'm going outside of sports because this documentary that's being made is simply incredible. The director or the filmmaker, whatever the proper title is making a documentary on Nashville bachelorette parties. His name is Ben Oddo, Oddo. And apparently the documentary is going to premiere tomorrow at the Belcourt Theater. This bachelorette party situation, the promo for it is laugh out loud funny. So yes, perpetually, the bachelorettes in this city that come to this city, that wreck our city, need a bounce back moment.
Nashville, Tennessee. By day, it is a lush oasis. Peaceful, a wonderful place to raise a family. But come nightfall, the bachelorettes emerge. Good God! Their migration begins in the spring, with women from all over the country descending on the city like basic moths to a flame. Depending on their size, they can be a herd or a pack. If one of them passes out in the street, they of course become a litter. But as a collective whole, they're known as what's called an epidemic. A feral breed not to be approached in the wild. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Abandon hope.
It looks incredible. If I wasn't going out of town, I'd buy a ticket to the premiere. Bravo to Ben, his production team, and whomever else is helping him put together this documentary. I hope that it becomes a great success because it is. The promo, at very least, is tremendous. My Tahoe needs to bounce back, says Kenyatta, because I'm tired of spending money to fix this damn thing. Sounds like a very, very relatable problem. If we're going off the board. Jacob Ray says, I just want a game where I don't need dabs to get through. You're self-medicating. You're going to basically tranquilize yourself for these football games. My God, Jacob. I'm worried about you guys. I have the gambling. I have the gambling problem help number. I don't have the football help number. I guess we would technically qualify as that, but I don't know that I'm necessarily comforting after losses for you guys. Who knows? So we'll see what the status of a lot of these players are for Sunday's game tomorrow. Mike Vrabel, the final practice of the week. He'll tell us who's in, who's out. The radio show is going to be a great time from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. We've got John Reed to get us hyped for Gator Hate Week before we head down to Knoxville. Coach Dave McGinnis at 11:20 to break down the X's and the O's. And Jason Fitz, our good friend from ESPN, who is a diehard Raiders fan and is as miserable as you are because his team is also down 0-2. So we'll do that tomorrow. Look forward to hanging out with a lot of you guys then. If I don't talk to you, have a great weekend. And we will do it Sunday night, win or lose, on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Have a great weekend.
There's Matt. All right, we haven't scored a point since I came in here. I am gone, guys.
What? That's it? We got a couple more questions. No, that's it?
Peace out by the GM.